What's going on, guys? SpiLLi here again today to kind of bring you another mouse review. But before that, I am actually going to talk a little bit about kind of, why there's a little bit of a gap between content right now, and a few other things that, might pertain to something some of you maybe that subscribe to me might be interested in. Probably those who are just checking out a mouse review probably aren't, and I'm sorry for that. This will only take a minute. So I've kind of had like a little bit of a drought in like content and like things that I want to like review. One of my subscribers has really urged for the Corsair Saber, which I'm actually pretty interested in because it has a 3988 sensor, and that is like I've spoken about it before, is actually one of my really my favorite sensors out there. That and the 3989, I think they're just really crisp and responsive, and I would really like to give them a shot because I think they're really well made, and honestly, some of the implementations of them are like very cheap. Like the Torque X5, that was my last review, thing performs like beautifully, and you can find it for like $30. That's crazy to me. That being said, yeah, I mean, well, I try to get my best to give you guys, like non opinion based reviews. Just kind of give you a review of somebody that kind of has a small hand, and kind of give you my point of view on what I think would work best for the general masses, because I know everybody has a different grip style. No matter if you're claw, fingertip, palm, anything like that, everybody's going to be slightly different. So I try and give you guys the best idea of what would work for anybody. If it doesn't work for me, I'm going to tell you it doesn't work for me. If I don't think it'll work for many people, I'll make sure and tell you that. That being said, let's hop right into it, because today this is a mouse that's not short on reviews by any means. I mean, it's one of the most popular gaming mice out there, but I thought I'd bring you another review on it. I think it does, and I had a kind of I don't want to call it an argument per se, on Reddit with a guy about Rocket Jump Ninja's reviews versus another guy, and the other guy does get slightly more technical than Rocket does, which is great. Good, fine. I love a little bit of technical myself, but that being said, I don't think that reviewer is very good at video games. That being said, Rocket Jump Ninja is very good at Quake, which I think brings an extra element to a certain review from a player that can play at like a pretty high level, which I can at Counter-Strike, not to brag or anything like that. I can play at a pretty somewhat high level in Counter-Strike. I can play at global elite level and about 13 to 14 RWS and ESEA. I think that's pretty high level. So yeah, I think that adds a little bit of depth to a review of somebody that can pull that performance from a mouse and see what it's all about, especially for something like Quake, like Rocket Jump Ninja plays. That's like a super flicky, all over the place game, whereas Counter-Strike's more like calculated, where you're aiming generally, things like that. But that being said, let's get right into it. So yeah, Logitech G303 Daedalus Apex. I've actually had one of these before. This is a new copy that I've just had sitting in a box, because I sent my old one in because it had a little bit of sensor rattle. So it was, it kind of just needed to go back. And I hadn't pulled it out since. I actually only got to use my last one for just a little bit before I had to send it back because of the sensor rattle. So let's hope to God this one doesn't have sensor rattle. So yeah, let's go ahead and open it up. Open that up. Put that off. Okay. So I actually really like the way that Logitech does this in this one. I'm not sure if they do it in a lot of their other ones, but and it's actually already popped out mostly. But they don't bunch up the cord like they do in some of the other ones. It actually comes all in like a rounded package right there, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, let's get it out, see what it's all about. So the Logitech G303 Daedalus Apex. First, right off the bat, you can tell pretty easily this is a very small mouse. It's really meant for a fingertip or a claw. It'd be very hard to like palm this mouse. See, like I have short hands and my fingers are still overlapping it, as you can see. Like I have to play in a claw. It's a very short, small mouse. This is not by any means a palm mouse. So if you play palm, this is not the mouse for you. You'd be very hard pressed to make this palm mouse. You would have to have like 15 or 16 centimeter hands to palm this. So yeah, That being said, I don't think it's made to be a palm mouse. It's not, the shape just doesn't, contour to that. So first thing is right off the bat, you'll notice it does have a weird shape. It is kind of a diamond shape, as you can see, which is, that's a subject of a high amount of debate on whether people like that or not, because it's a very unsafe shape. It forces your hand to sit in a certain way, and people basically have to mold their hand and force their hand to be able to grip this mouse well. That being said, the time that I used it, I didn't have too much trouble claw gripping it. My pinky finger sits slightly over this ledge right here, which isn't too bad. It sits basically like that, and it's not too bad. I do have, like I said, I do have about 17.5 centimeter hands, so the side buttons here on the right hand side do work well for me. Okay, so let's get right into it though a little bit more. The first thing I want to check, because I'm actually interested in this too, is does this have any sensor rattle? So I'm going to sit here and shake it a little bit and see if I can tell if this one has any sensor rattle. It has some sensor rattle. I'm a little pissed off right now. Yeah, so, man, that's really annoying. That is a little disheartening. Yep, so Logitech still, after however, a year and a half or whatever this has been out, says not fixed the sensor rattle. Don't know why. You would think, I usually praise Logitech for being great with quality, but this thing has had and known to have had sensor rattle for like a year and a half, and this one is another one that has it. This is, like I showed you, this came brand new out of the box. It has sensor rattle. Man, it's a little disheartening. I'm gonna have to do like a sensor and a jitter test later with it, but yeah, that's kind of annoying and a little disheartening already. I'm a little pissed at this review already. But yeah, I'll try to not be too subjective for the rest of it. But yeah, let's go on a little bit, talk about a few more things. Let's talk about the clicks on top, because this mouse is kind of known to have some of the best clicks in the business. It uses a springed Omron switch, so it feels a little bit different than anything else you've ever tried before. So let's see what it says. Yeah, that's very, very, very light. It's a very, very light click. Probably about the lightest, or maybe second to lightest I've ever touched. It'd be like right up there with like maybe like the Death Adder Chroma, which also has like super light clicks. It's not too light to the fact where I think you'll like be fat fingering it too much, but it's not. It's definitely like I said, it's just super lightweight. Next is the scroll wheel. This is pretty highly also debated whether this is a good scroll wheel or not. It is very tactile, has a good amount of tactile feedback, but it's also very like, I don't know how to describe this, but it's I'm thinking of the word to describe this. It's also like, it's very tactile, but it's also very thin and narrow, as you can see. Like, it's a very thin and narrow, not much elevation, so it's kind of a weird scroll wheel. I don't have any preference either way. I think it's completely fine for CSGO, which you do like a little bit of tactility. But that being said, I think this one is not a bad. I was able to hit B-hops with it the last time and everything with it. I think it works completely fine. Next thing would be the mouse one, or not the mouse one and mouse two, but these side buttons. What are those? 5 and 6 or 4 and 5? I can't remember. Both really good. The front one's very thin, but that doesn't really bother me. Back one's a little bit thicker. Both a very good feel to them. Very good clicks on this mouse overall. I mean, it's just got very good clicks overall. I can't really say much else about it. Probably some of the best, if not the best, clicks I've ever used. Next, we'll go to a little bit more. We're gonna go through the mouse feet. So the big problem with the G302 that they fixed with this is it had problems with these side mouse feet right here, and that it it would actually rock because it didn't have very good stabilization from those mouse feet. So they did fix that. They are small, but the mouse does tend to glide well. It has a pretty decent sized ones in the front and the back for how big the base of this mouse is. So I think that's completely fine. I think it works fine. But yeah, overall, I find myself being okay with this shape because it fits my grip. That being said, this is one of the most controversial grips out there, and it's definitely not going to work for anybody. I would say it's almost a must to have medium to small hands. I would say I'm closer to the small side of hands. Definitely, actually, I'm going to say I have small hands. I have like right over 17 centimeter hands. That's pretty small. And even then, this is like a small mouse to me. So being warned, I know some people out there have said like, oh, I have like 20 centimeter hands and I grip it fine. I don't know how you do it because honestly, this mouse is tiny. But if you can make it work, this has one of the best sensors made in it in the 3366. Some of the best clicks out there, and a decent scroll wheel. There's not really much wrong with this mouse. It has good RGB lighting. I could deal with a little bit better maybe texture. Has like a kind of a slicked plastic on the sides. The sides is a very slicked plastic, and then the top is a little bit less slick, but still a very slicked plastic. But overall, the mouse feels very good. Once again, a braided cable. I don't know why. I guess it kind of exudes a little bit of quality, but like I still think the hardcore gamer, the competitive gamer, wants a non-braided cable. That being said, it is a very thick braided cable as well. This might have trouble fitting in some mouse bungees. But yeah, that being said, if you can get a model of this without the sensor rattle, which I didn't, but if you can get one without that, and you like the grip, this is one of the most solid mouse choices out there. $40 to $50 for this mouse. Best sensor out there, or well, one of them. Best clicks out there. Overall good feel if you can like the shape and the grip. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time saying much else bad about it except for the stupid sensor rattle, which I'm going to have to test, and I'm going to see if I'm going to have to send it back or not. That's kind of annoying to me, but I mean, I don't know, what are you going to ask them to do? Open up each box and test them, or what? But I mean, it's getting to that point where it's like, Logitech, this has been happening for a year and a half. How is it not fixed yet? I don't know, but let's end on a good note. As always, guys, it's been SpiLLi. Look for a few more reviews coming out soon. Hoping to get... When is the Scream 1 supposed to come out? I thought it was supposed to be like... I know it's announced and they had like the commercial at the MLG Major, but I haven't seen a pre-order or anything like that for it, so hope to get that one soon. But until then, maybe look out for a Corsair Saber. I actually will have something a little bit special in a mousepad review coming out right after this as well. So look for that. And as always, guys, it's been SpiLLi with another mouse review.